So recently we have started doing some experiments with higher sulfur ratio black powder, or antique muzzleloading propellant as we like to call it. Now our first video we did, 2 videos back, was the 76-12-12, which is 76% potassium nitrate, 12% charcoal, 12% sulfur. And I saw that on a Facebook post that Swiss had made, and so we figured we'd give it a try. Now that had some pretty interesting results. In the new model Army with 30 grains and a 4.57 round ball, it was exactly the same as Swiss, just neck and neck with Swiss. Now based on that and all of my other experiments and in the last 6 years, we were expecting it to be right up there with Swiss in the Kibler Southern Mountain Rifle, and it wasn't. It was about 100 feet per second slower, which was very odd. But the really cool thing is it made the cleanest black powder I think I've ever seen through the rifle. Not exactly through the pistol. Not that it was horribly dirty or anything, but in my Kibler Southern Mountain Rifle, it was remarkably clean. Cleaner than Swiss by a long ways. So after that, we tweaked the ratio and we did a video on that, which I believe was 76-13-11. And we did see an increase in velocity in the rifle by about 30 or 40 feet per second, but it wasn't nearly as clean. And so I had a bunch of comments and questions from folks that watched both of those videos, and something a lot of people wanted to see was the 76-12-12 with 2F instead of 3. And a lot of people said that, being a rifle and a long barrel, you need slower burning powder. That's a smokeless trait, not exactly a black powder trait, but we'll discuss that more at the end. So what we did is we made a new batch of 76-12-12 using Osage orange, milled for 24 hours in our tread ball mill made with brass media, compressed to a density of 1.75 grams per cubic centimeter, sorted to both 2 and 3F this time, and glazed for 6 hours, dried, and there you have it. Now, we filmed both the stuff you're about to see and the last video at the same time, and there was a little bit of confusion, which was entirely my fault, because when we retested our 76-12-12, our new batch of 76-12-12, we were a little surprised because it ran around 1820 or something like that, when our first batch was 1750, something like that. I'll put the numbers up here so you can see. And it wasn't until we tested a bunch of other stuff, measured it volumetrically out of our Tupperware and retested it again when I found that I had mislabeled my weighed charges. Now, afterward, I looked at the footage because luckily I had filmed it on the bench. And sure enough, when I went to weigh out 50 grains of the 76-12-12, I grabbed the 76-13-11. Nobody's fault but mine. I don't have an excuse. I'm a dumbass. What can I say? But I was able to confirm that all the rest of the stuff is the correct powder. So there's that. So the first thing we did, once we got that straightened out, is we retested our 76-12-12, actually 76-12-12, through the Kibler Southern Mountain Rifle to make sure that this batch was pretty close to the first batch, which it most certainly was. Ran a little bit slower by, I think, 28 feet per second, which isn't abnormal to have about a 25 or 30 foot per second spread from outing to outing, batch to batch, day to day, so on and so forth. And it was just as clean as the initial batch in my rifle. So just so we're all on the same page before everybody starts leaving me angry comments saying that it up, which I did, but I got it all hammered out now. The new batch is right on par with the first 76-12-12 batch. So now that I've got all that out of the way, these tests are with a couple of different firearms. Because we had such a loss in velocity between the Remington and the Kibler Southern Mountain Rifle in the first video, I wanted to try it in a cartridge, in a revolver and a rifle. So we assembled some .45 Colt with 25 grains of 3F, a card wad, a lubed felt wad, another card wad, and a 200 grain lead round nose flat point projectile. The two firearms are my American Western Arms single action army with a 4 3/4 inch barrel, and my 1866 Uberti Yellow Boy with a 24-inch barrel. Now, usually I would run a 250 grain projectile, but believe it or not, I am out of 250 grain projectiles, and it's too hot to cast up any, so I just ordered some today. But for these, I'm going to use 200s because I got plenty of those. I am not a big fan of the lubed felt wads, the Ox Yoke Wonder wads. They just don't seem to carry enough lubricant, in my opinion, to really do a lot of good. I know that's a controversial opinion, so, you know. So what I've been doing is I'll take these wads and I'll melt some of my homemade lube, which is like 60-40 lamb's tallow and beeswax. Sometimes it varies. Sometimes it's more wax than others. Just to keep it from being, you know, melty in the summertime like this. And so I'll take the wads and I'll just pour them in there so they soak up a bunch of lubricant. I'll pluck them out. I'll put them on a paper plate and let them dry. And I've had pretty good luck with that. It really makes a tremendous difference because, again, I just don't think the way they come out of the bag, there's enough lubricant on there. So that's how the 45 Colt is assembled. And also, of course, as a control, I have 45 Colt loaded assembled the exact same way with 25 grains of 3F Swiss. Also, we used our Thompson Center, I guess you can call it a Hawken or a Plains rifle. I don't know what Thompson Center calls them. 54 caliber with 80 grains because, again, what we wanted to see is if after a particular length barrel, does it start to really lose velocity? Is it still going to be as clean? So the Thompson Center barrel is considerably shorter than the barrel on my Kibler Southern Mountain Rifle. The Southern Mountain Rifle has like a 44 or 46-inch barrel, and the Thompson Center has shorter than that. I'll show you. And of course, we tested the 50 grains of 2F 76-12-12 in the Kibler Southern Mountain Rifle to see if it didn't perform any better, gain or lose any velocity. So here's the 76-12-12 test with a variety of different firearms. So now we're going to do the test that everybody seems to think is going to be the rule breaker here. Now, I tell you what, I don't know how many people in the comment section seem to think that it was going to be faster with 2F. Now, that would be really, really interesting, but I do not see that. I do not see that happening.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of. I think that would kind of break the laws of physics or something, you know?
Yeah. I don't know if it'd break them, but it definitely...
Bend them?
Unless there's some secret third variable that we're not thinking of.
Well, that's very possible, but...
But for all the ones that I'm accounting for, it
would be the only time in history, I think, that we have seen 2F have a higher velocity.
And I don't think that...
And I don't mean going from 2F GoX to 2F Swiss, because that's a higher quality powder. This is the same stuff, it's just different granulation, so... All right, here we go. Shot number 1, and I've already taken a fouling shot with the 2F 76-12-12. $16.34.
Oh!
Let's try it again. All right. Shot number 2 with the 2F. 16.30.
Oh. Boy, it's not looking good at all.
It's slower than I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, I figured it'd be like 16.50.
Now, I think the real question now, the only question left, really, is... Get in there. Do you think it'll be as clean?
No.
I don't think so either.
No, I would argue it's going to be dirty.
Since it has a longer burn time, I'm thinking it's not going to be quite as clean. Still loading plenty easy though.
There we
Plenty
go.
easy. Okay. Shot number 3. $16.27.
Wow.
What a super tight spread right now. I think, and again, we'll see how it looks as far as the fouling goes. I think it just is too lean of a ratio for it to make any more horsepower in something long like this. In a pistol, seems to do quite well.
Yeah.
But even with 2F, that's okay. It's a test we needed to do. So
Yeah. It's a baseline that needed to be covered.
yep. Okay, shot number 4 with the 2F 76-12-12.
Uh-oh.
Well, wasn't expecting that. Oh, that's... I could have swore I saw some smoke come off of that.
That's what I thought.
Let's try it again. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Little hang. It's all right. 16.25.
Okay. So what's the spread?
Man, check this out.
8.
8.6.
8.6.
Wow.
Dang.
Wow.
That's super tight junk.
Man. I don't think I've ever had a spread that low in anything. My powder or anybody else's. Okay.
You got a chunk of liquid powder right in between you got the Shiva dot, but in black powder form.
It's not Ash Wednesday.
Anyways.
Well, dang.
Yeah.
Being that you're slowing down the burn rate with bigger granules, taking longer to burn, I don't think it's going to be as clean either.
Yeah.
Not that it's dirty. I can tell
Yeah.
just by how easy it's loading that it's pretty good. It's been so long since I've put any 2F GoX through this thing, but that's probably about what you'd see with 2F GoX.
You know what? I bet you're right.
Yeah.
I bet you're right. Yeah, that is definitely not as clean.
Certainly not as clean as the 3F, but still nice soft fouling. You know, I could load another 4 or 5 shots probably before it started to get rough.
Yeah.
But definitely not lean and mean like the 3F.
Yeah. That was surprisingly clean.
Yeah, and mustache hair. And for all the sticklers about, you know, what F granulation goes where and all that stuff, those are like more guidelines than actual rules. You know, the only real rule, in my opinion, is what works best in your firearm. Yeah. And I had a bunch of people saying, "Oh, I bet you'll get better performance with 2F. I bet you'll get better performance." And I was like, "Well, geez, man, I got them all on a card at 50 yards offhand. I'm getting better than GoX velocity. It's super clean and pretty accurate.
Yeah.
What do you mean by better performance with 2F? Is it going to be more accurate? Is it going to be cleaner?"
Yeah.
Now, I'm not putting these on paper,
Yeah.
which, you know, I could, I guess, but I don't know that it's going to get any better than the 3F. So I think what they were meaning by that, and a few people came right out and told me, I think you get better velocity with 2F. That's not how that works.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
It'd be really, really neat and interesting if it did.
Yeah.
But that's not what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think this shows, again, same batch as the other stuff. Well, the new batch, but we tested it and it's the same. It just doesn't make enough gas to propel it faster in something long like this. It just doesn't carry the energy or something.
What they call driving gas.
Okay.
I would describe it as dynamic energy.
Dynamic energy sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is still a one patch cleaning job here. Not bad at all with 5 shots, counting the fouling shot.
Yeah, that's great.
But definitely not faster.
No.
Here's our 45 Colt with 25 grains of 3F Swiss. So again, this is our baseline with a 200 grain lead round nose flat point. And I got a card wad with a lubed felt wad in there to take up the space because it's only 25 grains. So not a hell of a big charge, but being that we're only using a 25. Boy, my phone is right pretty close to that target.
Boy, it is.
Yeah. From here, it looks like I could yank that and punch a hole right through it.
You will.
Anyway, let's see, where was I? Yeah, 25 grains might not seem like a big charge, and it isn't, but it's only a 200 grain projectile instead of the usual 250. So we'll just get some baseline numbers, and we'll shoot at that 2 of clubs just to see what we get. .873. .872. .865. .863. .883. Oh, that's right. Only 5 of them.
Yep, you only put 5 in there.
So that averaged 871.6 with a pretty tight spread, a 20 foot per second spread.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Probably is. So now we have our 25 grains of our 76 12 12 powder. As we want to see if this is going to perform different in the same cartridge in both a pistol and a rifle. So here it goes.
Oh, man.
Didn't read it. That's too bad. It's been doing really well lately. .881. Look at all that smoke. .860. .848. .845. Oh, that's right. I didn't read one.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute.
Take one more. Or wait, do we have enough?
I do.
Okay. Let me make sure there's the right bag. Still 12.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
One more.
One more. Thank you. Wait, we got 5 and 5. .856. So that averaged .858. So
a little slower then?
not by a lot, less than 20.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Well,
Interesting. Interesting. Because remember last time in the Remington, it was faster by, I think, 15 feet or so.
yeah.
So this here's slower by 15 or so, which is okay.
All right. Huh.
Well, let's have a look at those 2 targets, huh? Oh, that's not so bad.
Yeah, you even actually got one on the card.
Yeah, well, it shoots a little left. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay. That's not so bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
That's pretty tolerable. and just a little bit slower, 15 or 18 feet per second on average or so. Not a lot.
Just a smidge.
Just a little bit. All right, now let's try the rifle. It'll be 1,100 or 1,100 would be my guess.
All right.
But I am having a bunch of people all of a sudden talk about barrel drag.
Yeah.
Barrel drag. Like I had a bunch of comments from people saying, "Oh, well, have you seen the 22 long rifle thing? It's not any faster in a 20-inch barrel than a 24-inch barrel with a 22 long rifle." And it's like, okay, I'm gonna check that.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so we have our 45 Colt with 25 grains of 3F and a 200 grain lead round nose flat point, and our Uberti 1866 Winchester. We'll get some baseline numbers and see how we do here. $12.04. 1164. 1157. 1157.8. Did it not read that one? $1,031. So what? I don't believe that for a second.
That one did sound funky.
Did it sound wimpier?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're not going to count that one. Give me, I got two more. Hand me at least one more. Something was obviously wrong with that.
Something ain't right.
There's no reason in the whole wide world why that should have been there. That's okay. Let's try it one more time. Yeah, that's better. 1164. Okay. So even with that extremely ridiculously low shot that averaged 1146, it'll probably be a little higher after we delete that. Yeah, I wonder, man, I weighed all those charges too.
Who knows?
I wonder if I had some
A little too much lube in one.
Maybe. Well, the lubed felt wads, again, this is another reason why I'm not too excited about them, but they don't carry enough lube in my opinion.
Oh.
So what I did is I took their lubed felt wads and I melted some of my lube and I poured those felt wads in there, so they got an extreme amount on them. So if it was a little squished more, maybe it touched the powder and fouled it a little bit. It's possible. Either way, it should not be 1,031. Yeah. This is what happens when you forget to turn the target camera on.
You borked the shit
Boy,
out of that.
I sure did. Ah, well, that's okay. We'll just mark those and try it again.
That's too bad, man. That was a bitchin' set right there.
That's pretty good. That's all right. Okay, so now we have our 45 Colt with 25 grains of our 76 12-12 powder and a 200 grain projectile, and we'll see if we don't see a significant loss in velocity like we did with the flintlock the last time we checked it, huh?
Okay.
All right, here it goes. $10.97. $11.23. $11.06. $11.28. $10.91. $10.90. Oh, how many I got in there? $11.16. More than I thought, I guess. $11.11. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Same story.
That's what I thought.
Same story. Okay. That averaged 1108.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, so even if you can contain it in a cartridge with no breach, leak, like you would with a flintlock, you still lose velocity.
Okay.
So it's not the 100 foot per second that we were seeing with that.
Yeah.
Which I imagine you could probably attribute to it being in a cartridge and being more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Being forced to be more efficient, I suppose. But we're still seeing a loss.
Yeah.
We're still seeing a loss. Kind of stringing them high to low there. That's okay, though. Not them all on there except one.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Dang.
Yeah.
That's rad. I wish they all looked like that. Okay.
All right.
Well, that's more what I would expect.
At least it's making sense.
That's more what I would expect. But let's test the Thompson Center.
Okay.
Now everybody asked to see the 76-12-12 in something that had a shorter barrel. So I got my 54 cal Thompson Center here, and we'll take a fouling shot with it. And we'll take a couple shots with 80 grains of 3F Swiss and then 80 grains of our 76-12-12 powder to see if we don't see a significant loss like we saw with the flintlock. So this is just a fouling shot. Man, Lenny shaved that cheek rest off for me. That's so much nicer to shoot now.
Looks good.
Doesn't hammer me right here. Thanks, Len. Running a little low on 3F Swiss there.
That's all right. Don't you got a couple more pounds at home?
Oh yeah, I got plenty.
Oh yeah, I got a whole bunch.
What I mean is I don't have it on me. If I'm lucky, I might have enough 3F Swiss for one more shot, but we'll see. $17.27.
Okay.
Boy, that sure hammers that target, doesn't it?
It does, man.
Let's see if I got enough for one more. Yeah, no matter how much I shake it, I'm still about 5 grains shy.
Oh, that's okay. We got about 5 grains in here.
Ah, perfect. Wow, that was great, Derek. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, shot number 2 with 80 grains of 3F Swiss. $17.47.
Okay.
Okay. So that's a fouling shot and 2 shots of 80 grains of 3F Swiss. Now, there you have it.
Yeah, looks good.
Now we'll take another fouling shot and then a couple shots of our 76-12-12 stuff and see if we don't have a significant loss in velocity, huh?
Yeah.
So since I got it charged up all the way, we'll just see what it does, but might be a little low. Cold, clean barrel and all that. But we'll just see. Why not? I could always exclude it if it's really, really low. All right, now here's shot number 1 with 80 grains of our 76-12-12 powder. $17.50.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. Here we go. Have to put my hat over the chronograph so it doesn't overheat and cause trouble. So here's shot number 2. $17.46.
Okay. Gary. Fucking Gary.
There's Sasquatch out there yelling. You know what I've noticed, Derek? Is this stuff is really consistent.
I have noticed that.
Even though like these ones aren't weighed, these are just, you know, volumetric measure.
They are
pretty consistent.
Yeah, they are consistent shots.
I wonder if
I mean, even the 2F was slow, but it was the most consistent stuff we've had.
Yeah, that's a
8.6.
a single digit spread with 4 shots.
Yeah, dang.
Yeah. All right. Here's our last shot.
Yep, last one.
And it's our last shot because I only got one more cap. So let's hope it goes off.
Oh yeah.
It'll go off.
Oh, why'd you say that?
Just see if the universe is paying attention.
Oh, it is.
Okay. Shot number 3 with the 76 12-12 powder. $17.76. Wow. Okay, so this shit is a little bit faster
And a shorter barrel.
in this thing. Now, okay, you have a bigger bore, 54 versus 45.
That's true. That's
and
true.
I imagine all that stuff is going to change it. But yeah, that's a little bit faster. But again, this is like what we saw with the pistol in the flintlock last go around, where it's a little bit faster and something with a shorter barrel, albeit this is much longer than a Remington barrel.
But it's way shorter than that 44 incher.
Yeah, but half the length almost of that flintlock.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow. Wild. Weird.
Huh.
What does it all mean then? What does it all mean? Okay, so that averaged 1757. Let's see what Swiss did. 1737. So yeah, 20 feet per second faster.
Just a smidge
That's about
faster.
what we saw with the Remington.
Yeah, I think it is.
So I wonder, I can't help but wonder, if with a certain bore diameter and barrel length, if you get over that pressure hump
Yeah.
and it starts losing horsepower.
Yeah.
Because right here it's neck and neck with Swiss almost, 20 feet per second, which isn't incredibly big.
Yeah.
You know, like in the revolvers, you know, we saw, well, the cartridges rather, it was a tad bit slower than Swiss in the revolver, and a little bit slower still in the 1866.
Yeah.
But with this, it's practically the same.
Huh.
Huh. What does that mean?
I'll have to do some math. Run some numbers. Not math.
I bet the bore diameter factors into it.
I was just about to say
I
that.
bet the bore diameter factors
Because the smaller
into
the
it.
bore diameter, the more fouling and all that kind of stuff you'll have build
Right.
up. So
When I was talking to Brett a couple weeks ago, he reminded me of when the British went from the 5.77 Snyder to the 5.77 450. And they were running like, I don't remember exactly, 162 or something.
Yeah.
Was the density of the powder they were
They had
running
to
for
drop
the
it down,
5.77.
didn't
No,
they?
I think they increased it.
Really?
They increased it, yeah, because they found that with the lower density powder in the smaller diameter bore, it fouled it out way faster than they liked. So they increased the density to like, I forget, 172 or something, and that fixed the fouling problem. Don't quote me on the numbers, but I'm pretty sure what the gist of it was they went to a higher density powder for a smaller diameter bore.
Interesting.
So I wonder if I'm sure that plays a factor with being a bigger caliber, bigger bore diameter. Now all that stuff is 45. You know,
Yeah, but
both
this is...
the pistol, the 1866, and my flintlock are all 45 calibers, give or take a few thousands.
But that's a 54.
This is 54, yeah.
So
oh well, I guess we'll swab it and see how it looks.
Yeah, let's swab it
I think
real
it depends on the firearm you're running.
yeah. That's what I mean. There's a sweet spot for barrel length and, and diameter.
So if you have a 45 caliber Hawken or Plains rifle or something, maybe the 76 12-12 powder will do really, really well.
Yeah.
But the barrel length on my flintlock is just a little too long to gain any extra horsepower. In fact, it might be so long where it starts to lose it.
Yeah.
You know?
Where, the barrel drag thing comes into play.
Yeah, that looks pretty good for being 54, no doubt about it. But that does not even look as clean
as the 45.
As the 45.
Yeah, no way. No way.
Yeah. Still nice soft fouling. I mean, it still looks good.
Yeah, let me see.
But it certainly doesn't look as clean as it did through the 45 flintlock.
But then again, we also are running 80 grains.
Yes.
It's not
you almost doubling the charge.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah, I'm sure that's it. You have different deflagration rates. Density's going to be different. Well, it's not different for me because we make it all the same. But a shorter barrel, bigger bore is going to act different than a longer barrel and a smaller bore.
Yeah.
And that powder works really bitchin' in that thing.
Yep.
It might not be the fastest stuff,
but it sure is clean
and accurate and consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good shit right there.
Yeah.
And as of right now, we're getting basically the same velocity as the 3F Swiss. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't have any issues with that at all. But it certainly doesn't look nearly as clean as it does
in that 45
through that flintlock.
Yep.
And that's the real interesting thing about it. So after having a few days to go over all of the data and chew on it for a while, I think really what it boils down to is every firearm is going to perform a little bit different within reason. So with the 76 12-12 powder, we could see that it looks really close to 3F Swiss performance. Only, 13 feet per second shy? That's pretty close. That's about as close as you can get it without it being the same. And again, that's what we saw with our initial test with the Remington. In the rifle, this looks a lot more familiar. And in the rifle, it looks very similar to what we saw with our initial test. With 3F Swiss, we got a average of 1169 with a max spread of 46, where our 76 12-12 powder was 1108 with a max spread of 38. So a good 60 feet per second decrease, again, comparing it to 3F Swiss, same charge. So from there, it looks like what I thought initially is it's just a little too lean to really make more pressure, more velocity in something longer like a rifle. Even though this rifle is considerably shorter than my flintlock, you're still not competing with Swiss very good in something with a longer barrel. Now, as far as the 2F versus 3F in the Kibler Southern Mountain Rifle, I wasn't hopeful that it was going to be faster. That's just not the way black powder works. And I know there were a bunch of people saying that, oh, well, with smokeless, you need a slower burning powder to make better use of that longer barrel. Well, I would agree, but this isn't smokeless, and it doesn't really act the same. So with 50 grains of 2F, now that was a weighed charge. The 50 grains of 3F on the new batch, that was not. That was measured volumetrically. But like all of my powders, I take extra care to make sure that my volumetric measure is pretty damn close, if not within a couple of tenths of a grain, the same as the weighed charge. So with 50 grains of 2F, we saw an average of 1629 with an incredible spread of 8.6. Dang, that's bitchin'. With the 2F, we saw 1728.9 with a...
Hi, this is Jake from the editing department. Sorry, I misspoke there. That was the 3F that had an average of 1728.9, not the 2F.
And again, that's a little bit slower by 25 or 30 feet per second than our first batch. So that's a solid 100 foot per second slower, and interestingly enough, was not very clean. Well, okay, it was very clean, but it was not as clean as the 3F. So 100 foot per second slower and not as clean. That's not exactly winning in my opinion. Either way, my point is The 2F didn't make it faster, and I didn't think it was gonna. Sorry. As far as the Thompson Center is concerned, this is where it gets a little strange. All of the 45 caliber stuff seemed to be right on par with our first experiment. Neck and neck with Swiss in the revolver, slower in a rifle by a little bit, more the longer the barrel gets. But the 54, with 80 grains of 3F Swiss, a 20 thousandths patch, and a 5.30 ball, with 2 shots of 3F Swiss, because that was all that I had left, we saw an average of 1737.3 with a max spread of 19. Pretty bitchin'. With our 76-12-12 powder, we saw an average of 1757 with a max spread of 30. So we have a 20 foot per second increase with the Thompson Center, where everything else got slower with a longer barrel. That's interesting to me. Now, I just recently had the thought that just because it performs well in something that's 45 caliber doesn't mean it's going to perform the same in something that's 54 caliber or 69 caliber or 75 or whatever it is you're using. Barrel length and bore diameter is going to change the characteristic of how it burns. Every firearm is a little bit different, I suppose, but with all the 45 stuff and that powder, even in a cartridge, still was pretty much what we saw the first time. The Thompson Center did not show us the same results. We got a little bit faster than Swiss in that thing. Now, it's not a flintlock. You got to remember, flintlocks have a breech leak. It's not a very big one, but still, it's going to cost you some energy. It's going to cost you some velocity. You're dealing with a cap lock versus a flint. You have forced ignition versus flame-propagated ignition with a flintlock. I'm thinking bore diameter has more to do with it than not. Another thing that crossed my mind, somebody mentioned in the comments, is, hey, have you thought about trying different ratios with different charcoals? And I thought, well, only until you mentioned it, because there's no rule that says one charcoal is going to perform the same at the same ratios. Maybe something like balsa, which is a super low density charcoal, is going to perform better at a more fat fuel ratio, because we run it at 77-13-10 generally. And I did have people ask, are you going to switch to 76-12-12? And no, not yet. But something I wish I would have done is in my rifle, the Southern Mountain rifle, because it did burn so clean, if you upped it 5 or 10 charge to get you into the mid-18s where Swiss usually is. Oh, by the way, we did take a couple shots with 3F Swiss. And again, these are not weighed charges. These are volumetrically measured, and it was 1849, which is right where Swiss usually is, mid to high 18s in the Kibler Southern Mountain Rifle. But what I wish I would have done, and we'll probably do this tomorrow or something, is I'll just up it 5 or 10 grains to see if I can't get up into the mid to 18s where I was expecting it to be, and see if it's just as clean. I imagine it'll be a little bit dirty because you're burning a little bit more powder, but there's always somebody that says, well, just up it 5 or 10 grains to get you there. Yeah, and we could do that, but that's kind of beside the point. I still want to know why. Why does it perform all this way in 45 caliber stuff, and then you change the caliber to 54, and now it's a little bit faster? Well, the only thing that's different is the ignition source being capped to flint and the bore diameter. So if I had a 45 caliber cap lock, that would be interesting to see. I don't have a 45 caliber cap lock. Too bad. So what's the moral of the story with all of this stuff? Well, every firearm's a little bit different, and just because it performs that way in a 45 caliber rifle doesn't mean that a 54 caliber is going to do the same thing. I suppose if I could sum it up as short as possible, I reckon that's it right there. So either way, 76-12-12 is still a pretty damn good powder, but just because you're up into sulfur doesn't guarantee that it's going to be more powerful. So, as usual, folks, if you thought this video didn't suck, do me a favor and hit the like button and consider subscribing. And if you did think it sucked, go make your own damn video.